Hi everyone, Comic Reviewer here, this time reviewing on Transformers the Movie. Now, as you know, Transformers the Movie is a 1986 animated film based on the popular 1984 Transformers cartoon. Now, I remember as a kid, I watched it before on DVD, and when covering it again years later and redoing my review for it, I think it just feels like a poorly done marketing attempt. As when season 3 comes and the movie, they throw in new characters and quickly kill off the old ones. Now, the premise of the movie is meant to take place in 2005, where the Decepticons have conquered Cybertron. Optimus plans to do a counterattack and heads to Autobot City. Ironhide go to Autobot City to go for supplies, and of course Megatron kills off the crew, basically leads out to an all-out battle, basically after an all-out battle with many casualties, leaving Optimus and Megatron both offline, and eventually new characters showing up to take over. And I would say the movie tries to be good, but it feels more like this was done as an attempt to cash a lot of things in. Because when the new toy line came in, a lot of characters were quickly killed off, like Ratchet, also Ironhide, Brawn, characters we got to know throughout the 80s run. And when we kind of are introduced to the new characters, they're kind of thrown in to be the sort of new Yes 2 characters. Like Springer, who is kind of the sort of like guy who's just there. RC, who is basically the new female Autobot, even though they could have used the other ones. Blur, who is the fast talker. Cup, the grumpy guy. And Hot Rod, who is just thrown in to be kind of like the new Prime. And when he does become Rodimus, you know he's going to be thrown in Season 3 with Optimus's role. And pretty much the goal of the film is meant to sort of feature Unicron, who is meant to be this giant transformer who devours everything in its path. And of course, we never know the origin of Unicron until Season 3, the episode called The Primitives. And of course does format Megatron into Galvatron, and also the Decepticons into new ones, the ones that were thrown out in space. So of course I do believe that Skywalker Thundercracker became Scourge. Also one of the Insecticons became Cyclonus. I think the problem is Galvatron doesn't really feel like an interesting character, because he's just thrown in to be the new Megatron and really doesn't seem interesting. I feel if you've got a version of Galvatron, you want them to be interesting. And I think this is even just as worse as what the Unicron trilogy was. Because with the Unicron trilogy, when Megatron got a new paint job, he was just the same character. This one, they try to give Galvatron a new look, which is more of a canon. And also, when we are introduced to newer characters, it takes more time to get used to. Like, yeah, you've got Daniel as the new Spike, who is kind of thrown in to be the kid appeal. When you are introduced to the Quintessons, that you kind of think they're going to be thrown in for the movie, but no. Season 3 tries to make them the creators of the Transformers, and I feel this feels like a really sort of trying to enforce it as to give them a part in the Transformers creations, even though in the movie it doesn't seem to act like it. And I do admit the soundtrack isn't too bad. When you got the song Hunger, they really know how to do the song. When you've got the song The Touch, it really brings this busting atmosphere to life, like Megatron and Optimus's final duel. And also what's interesting is, even in Transformers Animated, animated, Judd Nelson, also John Muskingum Jr., and Susan Blue do return for Transformers Animated, reprising their active roles. And I would say that, yeah, a good portion of the original 13 Autobots we got to know were killed off, leaving Jazz, Bumblebee, and Cliffjumper as the only ones left. And yeah, Starscream does return in Season 3, and does return in Beast Wars, obviously with Black Arachnia mentioning how he got killed off. So in other words, Transformers the movie is a giant kill fest. It basically kills off a good portion of characters we got to know, and this is like reading Ultimate Marvel, as they killed off characters we got to know. In other words, it deserves a thumbs down. A really badly done marketing attempt done bad. Not the greatest, not the best, and really could have been better. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.